So when I was 7 years old, I discovered something shocking in the classroom. In order to be accepted by friends around me, I have to hide myself. I remember raising my hands in the class, teacher, 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 to answer the question, only hear a classmate to whisper, stop showing off. I remember playing the piano and winning competition, only to hear someone's cough. Who ever listened classical music in this age? So I stopped. I stopped showing what I loved, what I was good at. Instead, I became the clown, the one who made people laugh, who pretend nothing hurt. It was the only way to fit in, but experience taught me a painful lesson. What happens when learning means erasing yourself? At school, I felt I had to hide who I was. And if I couldn't be myself at school, would I ever be able to be myself in this world? I started to believe that being me wasn't enough. That who I truly was, my thoughts, my passions, my talents, had no place. But was it really true? And what if there were another way? Back then, I used to think that I was the only one who felt this way. I felt like I was the only one to struggle to fit in, drawing in loneliness. But as I grew older, I realized I wasn't alone. I saw friends who, unable to find their place, choose to leave the school. And the most heartbreaking moment came when I lost my precious friend, someone who, like me, unheard, felt unseen. And when I met her parents, they showed me a photo of her. She was wearing a beautiful chimachagori. Her radiant smile was full of confidence. In that moment, I realized her identity was something to be celebrated, not to be erased. Too many children feel they have to erase of themselves just to belong. And that realization led me to my research. My research is focusing on how bilingual children engage their cognitive and emotional faculties through music. As a pianist, I have met many bilingual musicians, and they acquire languages pretty quickly and speak multiple languages fluently. But is it simply because they are very gifted individuals? Or is there a unique connection between being bilingual and playing music? I wanted to understand how did speaking multiple languages shape a child's way of thinking? And how does music help them navigate different cultural and linguistic worlds? So I conducted a study across 17 countries, interviewing 31 bilingual musicians, diverse backgrounds. How has being bilingual influenced you? And their answers revealed something fascinating. Many of them shared that music became their universal language, a way to connect with others even when the words failed. That they know how to communicate beyond the words. It showed us that we are not communicating only by words, but other tools like body languages, facial expression, breathing, technically means everything. Patel, who studies the relationship between music and language, discovered that musical training enhances the recognition of linguistic prosody. Yeah, I know it's very difficult words. It means like a rhythm and the intonation of the speech. and Bielistic de Pape found that bilingual children with musical experience exhibit improved memory and cognitive flexibility. So they don't just hear the words, they feel them. And music talks to our soul. But hey, I believe most of us have the same experience, right? Music talks to your heart. But for bilingual children, it means more vivid and lively. And sometimes it's beyond the meaning of the words. What struck me the most was this: bilingual children who engage the music are less afraid of making mistakes. They learn to recover quickly, to adapt, and to keep going. Through the experience of facing the difficulty of understanding or being understood, they nurture the resilience to survive in unknown situations. And they know, if we make mistakes, we can find the right answer faster and clearer. Even in situations where the perspectives and the way of thinking are different, they had developed the ability to recognize these differences are something valuable and to embrace them. That was precisely what defined their true selves. Through this research, I met a bilingual boy who has a very big smile, and his smile always makes people so happy. But when he started to attending his school, his big smile disappeared. The rigid school systems discouraged open affection, and even teachers seemed to reinforce a reserved manner. ちゃんとして、きちっとしなさい. One day he told me, my friend said that it's weird to say, I love you to my mom. And the other time, they told me hugging everybody is gross. As I watched him walk to school with his huge backpack, his once bright and cheerful demeanor seemed replaced by a hollow expression. It wasn't just the words of his friends. School itself seemed to shape how he was expected to behave. So here is a question. What do we want our children or the next generation to learn? Learning isn't just about acquiring knowledge or skills, or it is a process of discovering who you are. It's not just about adapting to your environment, but also about finding a new way to solve the problems you face, or even changing the environment itself. I came to understand this through my experience with music and exposure to different cultures. By living in 21 different countries, different languages spoken, music was my probably only way to discovering who you are. Who I was, I'm sorry. Not who you are. When I played the piano, I wasn't just playing notes. I was expressing myself. And moreover, I was finding my own thoughts. It has color, heat, shapes, and unspoken words. And people could understand that. They learned who I am, what I wanted to say, through the music. Through music, as I delved deeper into my world, naturally found myself being guided by music itself. And my encounters with people from all over the world have taught me something invaluable. This world is filled with countless individuals who have different perspectives, customs, languages, cultures, histories. Even when I struggle to understand them at times, I have come to realize that all of these differences are beautiful and worthy of respect. Then I learned. Learning isn't just about being told and memorizing facts or following the instructions. It's about exploration, expression, and transformation. But what if our education system only values one way of learning? What happens when children are told fit in rather than to find themselves? This is why recognizing diverse ways of learning matters. It's not just about improving academic performance. It's about ensuring that every child has the opportunity to learn in a way that respects who they are. There are countless ways to learn. If the current method of learning feels painful or restrictive, you may choose a different way. Learning should not be a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, it should be like an orchestra. In an orchestra, we have violins and cellos, flutes over there, trumpets over there, and so many different instruments. Each one has a unique sound and a unique role. The beauty of an orchestra doesn't come from making every instrument sound the same. It comes from blending different voices into one harmony. Imagine if an orchestra only allowed violins. If every musician was forced to play the same instrument, we would lose the richness, the depth, and the power of music. Difference is not wrong. Embracing diversity in learning means recognizing that each individual has their own unique way of learning and expressing themselves. When we embrace different ways of learning, when we allow children to express themselves in a way fit who they are, we create harmony. So today, as I look at my daughter and some students somewhere in this venue, I think, listening to my speech, I want to send one message to those who are struggling to find themselves at your place. You don't have to change who you are to fit in the surroundings. The way you learn, the way you express yourself, the things that makes you unique, those are your strengths, not your weakness. This world needs your voice, your perspective, your creativity, your way of thinking. It all matters. So don't be afraid to learn in your own way. Don't be afraid to embrace who you are. Because when we celebrate different ways of learning, we build an education system that truly leaves no one behind. And now, to those who are sitting here as adults, I have one request, just only one, easy one. Think about the next generation around you, maybe your students, your families, your friends, your community. When they struggle to fit in a rigid system, when they hesitate to express who they truly are, just tell them one thing. You are enough just as you are. Some children think in more than one language, and some communicate the best in music, like me. Some find meaning in a movement, like dancing, in art, storytelling. In each of these ways of learning is just as valuable as any other. Language is more than words. It's a way of understanding the world. And music is more than a sound. It's a way of connecting with others beyond borders. When we recognize this, when we allow children to explore learning through multiple perspectives, we are not just helping them succeed in school, we are helping them navigate a diverse and interconnected world. If we want a world where no child's left behind, we must create the spaces where they can use all of who they are. where languages and music are not just subjects anymore, but bridges that connect people, ideas, and cultures. So let's not just accept diversity, let's nurture it, and let's celebrate it. Let's make sure that every child has the opportunity to learn in a way that respects who they are. Because change doesn't start with the policies or institutions. It starts with people. And it starts from us. Thank you for listening.